Hello everyone, myself JR Shinde from Kikewak Polytechnic, Nasik. In this video, we will see the total 8 concepts of OOP, that is Object Oriented Programming Language. Let's start with the first concept, that is class. What is class? Class is a collection of member variables and member functions. Class can be created for any things. For example, time, person, item, table, etc. You can see here, this is the diagrammatical representation of class. Here class name is employee and the member variables of class are id, name, experience, department, and member functions are accept and display. That's why we say that class is a collection of member variables and member functions, all are tied together. Syntax of class declaration. Here class keyword is used for declaration of class. After that class name, you can give any class name except keywords. Within opening and closing bracket, you have to specify access specifier for the member variables and member functions. Access specifier may be public, private, or protected. If you not specify the access specifier, then by default access specifier is private. Class can be terminated using semicolon. Next, objects. Object is a runtime entity. It is an instance of a class. By using object, user can access the member variables and member functions of a class. Basically, here are two ways to create object of class. First one, before termination of class, you can specify the object names. And second way, you can create object in int main by using syntax class name and then object names. For example, here employee is a class. Then you can create the object of employee, that is employee, and then e1, e2 are the objects for the employee class. By using object, user can access the member variables and member functions of a class. Means for calling functions, we require objects. Next, data abstraction. Abstraction refer to the act of representing essential features without including the background details or explanation. Abstraction is also defined as a hiding and implementation details from user. It supports concept of ADT, that is abstract data type. It only tells us what to do, but it does not tells us how does they do. Here you can call any specific function, for example fact function or any additional function. You can only call that function by using that name, but you don't know what is the internal structure of that function. For example addition function, then only you know that addition, but in that function whether they are performing addition on 2 operands, 3 operands, 4 operands, they don't give the details and don't give the how they are performing that operation. That's called as a abstraction. Next, data encapsulation and data hiding. The wrapping up of data functions into a single unit is known as encapsulation. Basically that single unit is nothing but the class. That means we are wrapping up of variables and member functions into a single unit, then it is called as a class. The data is not accessible to the outside world, and only those functions which are wrapped in that class, that member functions and variables only accessible within a class. So it is called as a data hiding. Means external entity cannot access that data. Next, inheritance. The mechanism of deriving a new class from old class is called inheritance. The process of acquiring the property of one class to another class. Inheritance means reusability. Basically, inheritance means what? If you have already existing source code of any class and you want to create new class related to that class, then you can access the member variables and member functions of already existing old class. For example, here parent class is already exist. In that id, name, and address are the attributes of that class, and you have to create class child, but in child class you require the parent details also. So you no need to accept the details again. You can directly access the parent class which is already exist and use that functions and use that attributes in a child class. This is called as a inheritance. Basically, there are five types of inheritance: single inheritance, multiple inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and hybrid inheritance. Next, polymorphism. The ability to take more than one form is called polymorphism. Ability to take more than one form means in a single program you can create more than one function with the same name, means multiple forms of a single function. It includes the concept of function overloading, operator overloading, and virtual functions. There are two types of polymorphism. First one is runtime polymorphism and second one is compile time polymorphism. You can see this diagram. Polymorphism is classified into two types: compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. Basically, compile time polymorphism is also called as a static polymorphism, and runtime polymorphism is also called as dynamic polymorphism. By using compile time polymorphism, we can achieve function overloading and operator overloading. And by using runtime polymorphism, we can achieve virtual function concept. Next, dynamic binding. The linking of function at runtime is called as a dynamic binding. Basically, dynamic binding is also called as a runtime polymorphism or dynamic linking. Dynamic binding means user can call any function at runtime, but the which function you want to call it will be decided at the runtime. In static polymorphism or static binding, we specify that the which function you want to call at the compile time. That's why the compiler takes the all the calling function details in a compiler and save it in a program counter variable. So while executing that program, it directly jumps to the specific function. But in dynamic binding, the function is not specified. Function name is accept. There may be a multiple functions like accept, accept, accept. Then which one you want to call? So it will be decided at the runtime. That's why it requires more time for finding that function. That's why it requires more time for the execution. Or there may be a chances of error because if that function is not available or not exist, there may be a error. But in static binding, this type of errors not occurred at runtime because it can be clear at the compile time. That's why it requires less time for execution. Next, message passing. Communication between one object to another object is called as a message passing. Functions can communicate with each other through objects. Basically, message passing is nothing but the sharing of data. If one function can be accessed by the another function, then it is called as a message passing. And the message passing can be done using objects. Thank you all.